Alright, what's going on YouTube? Sean here, and today we are here to learn about the obscure lore of Happy Tree Friends. Yes, let's learn some lore about this show. If you guys haven't already, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and comment your favorite part of today's video. And check out the original creator in the description below. But without further ado, let's go ahead and click play.
Happy Tree Friends is a nice, family-friendly show about cute golden creatures that love and hug each other every episode. By love, I mean kill, and by hug, I mean eviscerate. Every episode, these lovable guys find creative ways to purposefully, or commonly, accidentally kill each other. Ripping their spines out, popping eyeballs, shaving them down at hyperspeeds. This is a brutal show. It makes Saw look like Sesame Street. Despite being obliterated every episode, they're fine the next one. And the reason is a little more complex than the cop-out answer of cartoon logic. So I will solve that mystery, along with going over a soldier bear with a PTSD-ridden past, time travel, cursed relics, to a pig that stalks the others, waiting for the right move, along with the incoherent life stories of all the characters across 150 episodes. Happy Tree Friends is an internet show that began in 1999, and has since developed into 5 seasons, along with an actual TV series, tons of extra little shorts and interactives, a spin-off, multiple video games, and surprisingly a comic series. Not much of one, but it exists. It was the kind of series your cousin would show you when you were a little too young, and now you are scarred or a little demented. And let me tell you, I wasn't the victim. I was the cousin that showed this. There are roughly 20 main Happy Tree Friends. 95% are actually cute, lovable creatures. They don't intentionally kill anyone. Their haphazard antics just happen to do that. Cuddles, Giggles, Toothy, Petunia, Nutty, Flaky, Handy, Lumpy, Sniffles, Flippy, Pop, Cub, Mole, Russell, Disco Bear, Lifty and Shifty, Mime, Splendid, and Cro-Marmot. There isn't really an overarching story throughout the episodes. All they really do is set off a chain reaction which kills everyone, or the centric character in that episode accidentally beheads or slices up everyone in pursuit of whatever their goal is. Each episode is told as if they're a story from a little golden book. But the real story lies within the characters, not the plots. The Happy Tree Friends' age are a large point of contention. They are depicted as kids a lot of the time, being in school, field trips, and so on. And in these scenarios, Lumpy serves as their teacher, mentor, camp counselor, whatever. But they're also shown to have jobs, own homes, can drive,
but then they're old.
Served in the military. One of them is thousands of years old. So basically, age is irrelevant for these rodents. Also, hi guys, it's me, Mung. Not regular Mung, but one of the alternate Mungs in the Mungverse. The one that happens to look like a Happy Tree Friend. I'm outside the Washington Monument. Nothing bad is going to happen to me. It's a sheer coincidence original Mung delegated this video to me. Anyway, I just wanted to introduce myself. Carry on.
What the?
Oh, that was close. The first we ever see of the Tree Friends is Banjo Frenzy, where early iterations of Cuddles, Giggles, and Toothy sit on a log, listening to their good friend Lumpy the dinosaur play the banjo. And then, he beats them to death with it because they made fun of his string breaking. But the true first episode where they get their actual designs is when the same 3 are riding on a merry-go-round, and Lumpy, now a moose, spins them too fast, ripping them limb from limb, and Cuddles flies into a randomly parked airplane. This episode is surprisingly far more important than you think, but I'll get to that later. Cuddles the bunny, the face of Happy Tree Friends, is actually pretty bland. He doesn't have many distinct traits or stories. He's just there to die. He seems to be friends with everyone, but is best friends with Toothy. And there seems to be some sort of de facto relationship with Giggles, the main female. However, that has been confirmed to not be official. In the Fall Out Boy music video they star in, because of course that exists, Cuddles and Giggles go on a date and only end up kissing after both of them are staked through the head. One of the non-show shorts he stars in is a tutorial teaching someone how to subscribe to a YouTube channel. And boy, that is an ancient layout. Hey, everyone, you should do what Cuddles is doing, and maybe subscribe. Giggles the chipmunk is a lot like Cuddles, just the female generic character. She's the only Happy Tree Friend to have a parent shown, besides Cub.
Oh yeah, I remember this
mother,
episode.
Appearing only once, is just a taller Giggles. After Giggles was already decapitated, her body was returned with a drawn-on acorn head, a la Sid the Sloth's eggs, and she didn't even notice her child's head was different, let alone dead. She is a terrible parent, for some reason, common occurrence in the Happy Tree Friends world. Giggles happens to be a bit of a strumpet. She has gone on dates with Cuddles, Russell, Mime, Flippy, Mole, even Cro-Marmot. The dude is a block of ice. Lumpy the moose is the character I would consider the main one. He's in essentially every episode. He's the only one that breaks the regular small character mold. Originally, he was a dino in the pilot episode, but I don't know how in-universe his species changed. He's mostly used as the first domino. He usually jacks something up first, which cascades the deaths. He is incredibly inept, which is perfect perfectly fitting for all the occupations he has. In a majority of the episodes, all the tree friends have some sort of occupation. They're usually a one and done. It doesn't really matter what job they're in, because next episode, they won't be in that position. But Lumpy is a little different. He has over 50 jobs, and he reprises quite a few of them. How in the world this pea-brain got these jobs, I don't know. Especially because he's like 4 different kinds of doctors. The amount of schooling he would have had to endure. But because of his immense incompetence, he accidentally kills a lot in his jobs, giving him the highest kill count of over 300. One of his most common jobs is a doctor.
Of course, actually, never mind. I shouldn't be surprised. Of course, he has the highest kill count.
One time replacing Disco Bear's heart with a whale's. He's been an eye doctor and a psychiatrist for Flippy. That is just about the worst credentials thing possible for Flippy.
Who gave them to you?
Episode, he's revealed to travel with chickens and lay an egg. I don't know why. But the bigger question is, why is there even a need for hospitals and doctors in their world? They're just going to regenerate their limbs and their life. What's the point in getting something fixed? He is shown to be the owner of a Lumpy-themed carnival. He's been a play director, and after the auditorium is set ablaze, him and all of his actors make a circle around it and sing "Oh Christmas Tree," and then they explode. He's worked at multiple stores, one time having his own toy store, where he found it profitable to sell his business partner Toothy's limbs and organs. He operated a butcher shop and accidentally sold the meat of Lifty and Shifty. Similarly, his own blood glazed donuts one time, and they got served to people. He's been a grave digger, but again, why is there a cemetery if they are just fine the next episode? No one really dies. Like, dead dies. He's a teacher for all of the other tree friends and doubles as a bus driver who ends up crashing them onto an island. That's not quite his fault though, I'll get to that. And I guess he also triples as their camp counselor. That camp episode in specific was created to promote the game Dead-Eye Derby. I sure hope games are the only thing the Happy Tree Friends promote, not any certain non-fungible tokens. He's a recycle garbage man guy, whatever they're called, but he ends up dumping it all into the river. That episode was pro-environmentalism, but anti-protester. At least it was portrayed that way. I don't know if that was the intention. He's a postman and opens tons of other people's mail, which is super elite. Actually, I was gonna say how illegal that was, but I think that's the least illegal thing Lumpy has done. Honestly, in this particular postman job, Lumpy looks up to what I assume to be his lineage of some master postmaster moose ancestor. He's also a vampire. His bat form is pretty cool. His antlers are the wings. And he's Santa. They really sort of just fill these roles with some people. I'm not gonna list every job verbally, but you can list them here if you want. It's definitely not important that you do. There's not a reason for you to do that, but I mean, here you go if you want it. He lives in a shabby little trailer right next door to Flippy. They've become closer as neighbors, I think. They hang out at least. One time he decorates his trailer with so many Christmas lights, it blows everyone up, and the moon. It even gets bright for Mole, who is blind. He is also shown to wear clothes, not ones you can actually see because they are the exact same color as his skin. If I had a nickel for every blue character that wears clothes the exact same color as their skin that I've talked about in a video, I'd have 2 nickels. But it's weird that it happened. Ever. Period. Finally, he gets his hands on an alien seed that creates alien clones of him. When some part of their body is severed, the original main part of their body will regrow what it lost, and then the severed limb, or whatever it was, will regrow their whole body. And in a show about severing body parts, these clones multiply a lot. They're able to kill everyone, probably not intentionally, but nothing can kill them. The most iconic Happy Tree Friend, I think, I'm pretty sure he's the most beloved, Flippy. The PTSD
104. How does he have?
He's so good.
How does Lumpy have more kills than Flippy, who literally kills people?
Because of his military service, the popping of a balloon,
he doesn't even have that many deaths.
Woodpeckering, or some other sound triggers a PTSD episode where he becomes Flippy, but it's like a backwards P, which is a Q, but I don't know if it's supposed to be a Q or a backwards P. I typed it with a Q because that's how you have to, but I don't know if it's pronounced Flick-P or Flick-Whippy, but I'm just gonna say Flippy. He becomes ravenous and kills everyone around him, thinking they are enemy soldiers. Not a ton is known about his army days, just small little flashbacks here and there, except for one whole episode where he was on a special mission called Operation Tiger Bomb. Private Flippy was in the war, weaponized animal regiment, along with Sneaky the Chameleon and Mouse Kaboom. Surprisingly, I
played a game with these characters, I think.
So in their mission, Flippy messes up terribly and kills his own fellow soldiers, and the entire tiger army is after him. Flippy hides inside of Sneaky's corpse, and while surrounded, he flips out for the very first time, beginning the PTSD episodes. He demolishes the tiger army and the tiger general. At some point, Flippy later evolves from a private to a sergeant, which is what he dons today. Henceforth, whenever something sets him off, he begins to kill and set army traps. I don't know what war this this was probably Vietnam because of his trap styles, but real human events don't really relate to the Happy Tree Friends world. During Halloween, Flippy decided to run his army truck through everyone. The toxic waste that was in the back of his truck, because, you know, you just have that for some reason. It happened to mutate their bodies into zombies, and even in death, Flippy is still vicious. In the grand finale for the TV show, Flippy is going mad, of course, and begins envisioning flipped out Flippy and his normal self as two different people. Mario. He thinks Crazy Him is attacking and trying to kill him. This devolves into a massive fight between an army of good Flippies and an army of bad Flippies. He finally realizes that they aren't two different people, perhaps finally healing himself of the PTSD. But he's killed right away. This was also the episode Lumpy was his psychiatrist. Flippy would sometimes show up with blood on him, and not even a single eye was raised. I understand the confidentiality, but he's not exactly being too private because he's a sergeant now. That's why he's not being private. Clap. It was funny. Even in his crazy state, some army principles still apply, like no killing children. He gets up close to Cub on his tricycle, but only pushes him off instead of horrifically murdering him. He holds up the trike and gets zapped by lightning, which kills him, but his spirit was put into the tricycle, and that three-wheeled vehicle, is that considered a vehicle? Whatever, it kills a ton of people. Still never Cub though. Also in that episode, Rudy the goat appears, and never again. So, that's cool. Who is Rudy? He was a fan submission thing that won a contest, but, you know, not really that important in the grand scheme of things. The mole is a mole.
How many kills did they say he had?
How unique. He is blind, but don't you worry, he does all the things seeing people can do. Like drive. He drives a lot, and he kills a lot. Sometimes he lives underground near the cemetery. I bet that feels kind of awkward. He's also mute. I mean, none of them talk, but he doesn't even mumble. Before Happy Tree Friends, he was somehow a skillful robber, going up against the Rat, who I think is also a robber. I'm not really sure, kind of vague with it, but he kills him. Pretty impressive for being blind. In this uniquely animated short, Mole gives a pig kid some balloons that probably later led to his death when he floats away, and whatever happens next is your guess. There's also an elephant he kills. Just fun little characters we'd never see again. He one time goes on a blind date with Giggles. I don't know if it was a true blind date or just a regular date. They don't elaborate if they've been dating or not. Either way, he doesn't take her anywhere. He ends up going on a date with Lumpy because he got the wrong house. And due to him driving, Lumpy dies. In preparation for this date, he shaved, and he had tons of cuts on his face, but the toilet paper pieces were on the outside of his turtleneck. Mime is a deer and another mute character. I don't know if it's more deaths than kills. I would hope it is, because he had to call the fire department for a fire. Duh, that was kind of redundant. And instead of saying anything, he played charades over the phone. Which, in case you didn't know, you can't do that. He also tries to work an intercom at Russell's fast food restaurant, which in case you also didn't know, you can't do that. In Mime's house tent, there is an actual house room with walls in a tent, but I mean, am I really going to question that logic of all things? Inside, there is nothing. There is to him. There's invisible furniture, appliances, sinks, a safe, and everything else that's in a house. Maybe he lives on a different plane than us. Perhaps he can see 4D. Lifty and Shifty break in and steal the safe, acting like there is weight to it, so I'm going to assume it does actually exist. I don't really know. When Mime is a lifeguard, Sniffles begins drowning out in the ocean, but instead, he sees an invisible person and drags them to shore. But that invisible person dies. So, I'm thinking he does have some sort of, like, special vision. Oh, hello.
He probably actually does.
I'm sure I'm glad that arrow didn't hit me. It hit that guy off camera, but not me. Anyway, Sniffles is an anteater. He's also the inventor smart guy archetype, inventing all kinds of stupid stuff like a shrink machine to kill a cold, a monster blob that eats the meat off their bones, all that kind of stuff. In that monster blob episode, there's a few background appearances from Trixie the Ferret and Really Good Unicornius. Again, fan submissions, but their quick cameos in the back is like a flashbang. Sniffles has a dream machine that he hooks himself up to where you can see his dreams. Lumpy is able to change the channel per se, and his dreams quickly become violent, giving some credibility to the cliche everything's a dream theory. I don't think those are very fun though. Sniffles always goes for the same family of ants to eat. I don't know why. Maybe he is a little sick and twisted. The ant family is notably missing a father figure, so perhaps he's just trying to wipe them clean. But usually instead of being consumed, the ants torture Sniffles like actual demented things. They nail his tongue, saw off his tongue, nail him to a tree, rip his toenails off, turn him into a house. They have an ant rescue mission inside of him. They are able to control his mind once, and this leads to a death that is regarded as one of the most gruesome. Either way, they always kill him instead of the other way around. One last thing with Sniffles. He makes a time machine. He creates it to unspill his milk. Pulling a Rabbids, he makes it from a washing machine. When he travels back, he crushes someone, but he doesn't notice. Lumpy then gets his help because Toothy gets hurt on the playground. He goes back in time to prevent the injury, but that actually causes some death, so Sniffle tries to fix that, going back in time, causing more death with every fix. One of the fixes was a plane to rescue Cuddles, which he happens to park a little ways away. He goes way back in time to prehistoric days, and there is a cave Sniffles.
Was that the plane?
Cave ant. Sniffles eats a different cave ant.
Was that the cannon plane?
Cave Sniffles sees him chomp on the insect, so he eats his friend, beginning the anteater versus ant rivalry. Eventually, Sniffles removed all playground equipment, leaving only the merry-go-round. This now results in the very first episode where he kills them on the merry-go-round. This was super cool, which makes this episode take place before the first season. Now, with context, Cuddles flies off into a not-so-randomly parked airplane. Sniffles goes back home thinking they all ended up okay, but then suddenly a time machine teleports into the future, crushing Sniffles. He was the one crushed at the beginning, and out of the time machine comes Sniffles. In rushes Lumpy again to tell him they all just died on the merry-go-round, creating somewhat of a loop. It's not like a full circle, but kinda. So no matter how many times he goes back, they're going to continue dying. I think that's what that means. I guess fate is a thing. Or it's a curse. Everyone is meant to die. I don't know. But quickly ending the merry-go-round saga, as a construction worker, Lumpy tears it down. That's it. Splendid is a flying squirrel, but he can actually fly.
Look at 2 deaths, 99.
He has a weakness to Crypto Nut. Like all the characters, he tries his best, but ends up just killing everyone with his powers. Despite this, he's still seen as a celebrity. People want his autograph at Happy Tree Friends Comic-Con. By the end of the con, he has no fans left because he killed them all.
Yep,
he
killed all his
seemingly
fans.
can't die from regular things the other ones can. Like he accidentally dropped a massive amount of concrete on himself and Sniffles just to sign his autograph. It killed Sniffles, but Splendid was totally fine. The only time he died was exposure from Kryptonut. Another time, Splendid tries to stop a tornado. He happens to flatulate. I'm using civilized words for this civilized show. I don't want to say any 4-letter F words, but he happens to fart. There, I said it. It turns the whole world green because of the physical smog he releases, which kills everyone. The power he holds between those cheeks, it filled up the whole world. For being a superhero supposed to help people, he has an excellent KD. He has a confirmed kill count of 93, and only 2 deaths. But when you consider the whole Earth this one time, I think it's a little higher than a mere 93. How he got his powers is unknown. It could be how Superman got his when his parents were shot in the alley, but I don't know, that's just my own speculation. He leads a band of superheroes called Splendid, Supremely Sensational, Stupendously Spectacular Super Squad. They show up to help Splendid after he was crushed into the ground after battling his enemy Splendont. They fight each other with whales and the moon, and Splendont wins, leaving Splendid to suffer. What a bummer ending. But I do think Splendid probably deserve that. So back in modern day, there's a power Splendid shares with Superman, spinning around Earth the other way to reverse time. He did this because he saved a ton of people and then burnt his bread, so he reversed time to cook the bread properly. But now he refuses to save all the people again. This could be another explanation as to how everyone can die and then everything is reset before the carnage. However, Splendid has died twice, making this pretty much impossible. Also, even if he didn't die, I think he's just too lazy to reverse time constantly. Pop and Cub, father and son bears. If you thought Giggles' mom was atrocious, you ain't seen nothing yet. Pop lost his wife a while ago. Why she doesn't just regenerate like the others is beyond me. But now he's a solo dad raising Cub. He's got the typical Tom and Jerry dad attire. Robe, pipe, and whatever kind of goofy hat that is. His actions lead to his son's death one way or another, making it filicide. Cub also probably kills Pop. I'm not even sure. I didn't make that a point to remember that, but if he did, patricide. Cub is just about the only truly innocent character. He's still got at least 9 kills under his belt, but he's a baby. Just let it slide. Pop gets a dog named Whistle, and apparently everything in the Happy Tree Friends world is cursed to be a killer because he's the type of dog that gets a court order. You catch my drift? Don't worry, they call pest control to take care of him. Who's the worker? Oh, Lumpy. Well, they're screwed, especially because they unleash like 100 more vicious dogs. Using the Necronomicon, Pop accidentally gets Cub possessed. Dang it. Don't you just hate that relatable experience when you make your son a demon vessel? Bomber. A separate time when Cub dies, he's turned into Cubtron Z, a massive robot that wreaks havoc in the city. And there's also this monster thing. I don't really know what's going on here. This was a special animation, and it looks like a boomerang bumper. Every show has their addict, and here it's Nutty the squirrel.
Oh, here
Sugar
Nutty.
is his crack. He daydreams about marrying a box of chocolates, getting it pregnant, having a box of chocolate children, her having an affair with Lumpy. As he walks out the door, he's licking chocolate off his face. Why am I acting like this is a kid's show? Never mind.
It really is.
Anyway, Lumpy got in her chocolate box. Nutty plots on killing Lumpy. He goes to jail. He gets out, and then Nutty and Chocolate Box grow old together. Chocolate Box dies. He buries her, and all of this was in a daydream. Unsurprisingly, he ends up getting locked away in a rubber room and is rehabilitated, getting addicted to gaming instead. But he eventually relapses back onto sugar. That exclusive short came only with a game called Happy Tree Friends False Alarm. Cro-Marmot is an ancient Neanderthal marmot, getting his name from the caveman human species Cro-Magnon. Way back when, in dinosaur days, he was just a regular rodent with a club who fed on dinosaur carcasses, yummy, and was constantly killed by dinosaurs. In the DVD version of this short, it's introduced by this guy named Leather Balkan. Anyway, the fact that Cro-Marmot dies way back when basically throws out both theories of Sniffles time traveling or Splendid reversing time. So, I mean, there goes any realistic answer. I highly doubt Sniffles was going back this far, and even reversing it for his ancestors. He can go back to this era, we've seen it, but I doubt he was making sure they stayed alive. I think that would make Sniffles a bootstrap paradox, if he did make sure they survived. Kinda. Why am I talking about, like, physics or something in a Happy Tree Friends video? I'm not Schrodinger. But, watch this. I'm now both Schrodinger and not Schrodinger. Fast forward multiple millennia, he's a block of ice. Don't know how. Yet he can throw snowballs, drive a car, and pedal a unicycle. We don't actually see him do some of these things, they happen off screen, but we see the result of them, like the thrown snowball. In modern day, he was interviewed for his vast successes, being in a critically acclaimed tour on Broadway, accomplished painter, writer, pianist, owning a brand of foot powder, named Sexiest Happy Tree Friend in 1992, and in a vastly successful show. Which does make it seem like Happy Tree Friends is a show, and they're actors, but I hate that reasoning. We're not gonna go with that. Also, the Happy Tree Friends have been going on dying since 1992 at least. Or were they switching them out? You know, there's a whole lot there from that one line that could be explored in such depth, but wouldn't it be funny if I didn't try and think about that?
Jesus.
Cool, because I didn't. But now he's an entrepreneur, selling ice cream. Despite what you might think, he does have some kills on his hands, or block. Also, if he is pushed down a hill and then crushes someone, is it his fault or the pusher's? If he can stop himself, does it change the answer? If he can use his feet somehow, which is implied because he can drive and pedal, he might be able to stop himself. I don't really know. Oh, me again. Surely nothing bad is going to happen. The Washington Monument is looking awfully pokey back there. Good thing I'm situated all the way down here. Oh, hey Nail, my vice president who hasn't appeared in a video in like 4 months. I probably have a lot of viewers that don't even know who you are.
God has forsaken us.
What?
Okay. Toothy the Beaver. Toothy's best friend with Cuddles, and he has to shave down his own teeth sometimes. But like, that's it. He appears all the time, but it's a lot like Cuddles and Giggles, not super unique. I like him though, I wish he was. Handy the Beaver. He's missing both of his hands, completely unknown how that happened. But the even bigger question is, if everyone can get mangled and maimed, why doesn't Handy get his hands back? He doesn't start with them, but everyone is reincarnated or reversed or however. Why doesn't he get his mitts back? There's a whole episode how he falls in love with Petunia because both of her hands were cut off and they bonded over that. Next episode, she gets to leave him in the dust with both of her hands, but he still ain't got no hands. And again, another victim of this limb situation is Russell the Sea Otter. He's a pirate missing both feet, a hand, and an eye. I'm guessing him and Handy would have been like Flippy, so the creators had to nerf them. Mentioned earlier, Russell owns a fast food place. I'm guessing it's the Happy Tree Friend universe off-brand of Long John Silver's, which means I would never, ever go there. He also has a pet piranha that totally, definitely, never in a million years rips Russell's face off. He also gets a ship in a bottle stuck into his gut. He survived in a whale with Lumpy once. We get it. Episode. He's a pirate. He's a mariner.
He's a pirate.
He's a seaman. Wait, Disco Bear, the bear, his personality is Disco. He's also
this man has almost the same amount of deaths and kills.
Petunia the skunk. She has OCD and is a germaphobe. There's an episode that even YouTube deemed too far and removed it offline. And the fan base also deems the creator went too far. So apparently there is a roof to the brutality and it was hit. And yes, the episode is awful. Flaky the pine cone. She has anxiety and all she does is worry. One time, Flippy is a hitchhiker and he's completely cool, not flipping out or anything, and all he wants to do is help her. But in fear, Flaky decides to shove glass in his eye and then he dies after Lumpy runs him over. I did not care for Flaky. Lifty and Shifty, two twin raccoon thief brothers, and that's all they do. They steal from Crypto Nut to jewels, coins, and
because they be killing people together.
Oh yeah. Submarines.
Hey, it's me, Nail. I'm taking over now.
No, you're not. What's that?
Oh, nothing. I just mixed some pool chlorine with Coke and sealed it tightly in a bottle.
Oh, I don't think you probably should have done that.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yup.
Lammy is a lamb, and Mr. Pickles is probably
Mr.
a sentient
Pickles?
pickle. They were not in the original cast, but have since been added after a fan vote between Lammy and another guy named Truffles. Mr. Pickles is the only character besides Flippy in this show that intentionally kills all the time. He tries to kill people, and then Lammy tries to stop him, accidentally aiding in the kill. She, for some reason, brings him around everywhere, even though he is framing her all the time. Also, he may not be real, and she could just be imagining him, but I don't think so because a few kills then would be improbable. For one of his kills, she is arrested by Cop Lumpy and she's put in jail. But you're telling me there is a legal system in Happy Tree Friends this whole time? Why now? After all this death, even accidental, it still counts as illegal. Why has no one been prosecuted before? Truffles the boar. Don't recognize him? Of course you don't. Ever since he lost that vote against Lammy, he has been stalking all of the characters. When they least expect it, he's hiding around a tree or a building. I think he's plotting,
for real?
Or maybe he's lonely and envies Lammy for winning. Maybe he's trying to experience being a happy tree friend from afar. He is bold a few times, being right out in the open. He's been killed a few times, once by vampire Lumpy. Somehow he was inside Petunia and was revealed when she died. And even crazier, well, maybe not as crazy as that one, he is seen hiding during the war in a Flippy flashback. Flippy is kneeling over a dead soldier, and you just see this pig slightly pop out from the side. Has he been stalking them his whole life? Maybe he served with Flippy. Maybe he was the enemy. I'm thinking this story will go somewhere eventually.
Yo, he's just in the background.
Cool. The Buddhist monkey.
Awesome, Amazing World of Gumball.
Happy Tree Friend. He is from the spin-off Kapow. He only gets 3 episodes, but he makes use of them well.
Yeah, should I watch Kapow? Let me know in the comment section below.
Master, dubbed by the fans Sensei Orangutan. He eventually died, actually like corpse dead, because logic might be different in Buddhist monkey world, I don't know. Monkey's nemesis is the Dark Shadow Lord. And, yeah, I don't know who he is. I don't know what he wants with Monkey or whatever, but he sends his apprentice, Char Sui. He also has a bunch of generic ninjas for foot soldiers. Similar to a crosswalk, Monkey can plow right through them. A ninja goes back to the Dark Shadow Lord with failure hung on his shoulders, so
what the world?
The Dark Shadow Lord kills him. He sends out Char Sui, and then she dies too. And that's Buddhist Monkey's story. I mean, there's like a panda character in like 2 seconds of a scene. This desperately needs a revival. But now the confusing part. In actual Happy Tree Friends, clips of these episodes are seen in a movie theater, and another time Buddhist Monkey is branded on an arcade machine. So is Buddhist Monkey just a movie character? Is he their Batman? Character. Is he just their fictional superhero or whatever?
Yeah,
Finally, the Golden Idol. Ripped straight from Indiana Jones. This thing is cursed. I think everything in this world is cursed, because like even the dogs are evil. Or potentially everything just has a high proclivity for violence. But this Golden Idol brings death almost instantaneously. It depends a little bit on the episode with how it works, but most often, if you hold it, something or someone is about to kill you. One time, Sniffles and gang found it atop a ziggurat, and as soon as they remove it, it rains monkeys. Later on, it summons seemingly sentient earthquakes, even breaking the screen at the end of the episode. And of course, it killed Sniffles and gang along the way. When it's not the focus of an episode, it's still in the background of a lot of them. Signaling stuff is about to go real doo-doo. I don't really think matters that much because it's Happy Tree Friends, stuff is going to go bad anyway. Lumpy drives over it in the bus, crashing onto an island. From there, they build a rocket ship and dissolve on the sun. I mean, that part may not have been the idol. One time, Cro-Marmot is shown selling 4 of them. Maybe they are just everywhere, but it hasn't been seen since season 3, so seasons 4 and 5 still have violence and everything, but are lacking the Golden Idol curse. I don't know. But I do think the idol makes a at least half-decent case for everything is just cursed. The only story left is all the weird random bits and bobs. I'm going to mention them because I'd be doing the fan base an injustice. There were many spin-offs. It's not really what they are, I definitely wouldn't call them spin-offs, but just extra tiny series. Kringles, from my understanding. They were Christmas-themed e-greeting type of things. Breaks, very, very short clips that were released during a hiatus. There's a character called Fat Cat that appears in a few of them, but he's never seen beyond those. Smoochies, online interactives that showed one of the characters in a completely blank area, and they just died in certain ways, depending on what you clicked. Some of them were holiday-themed. Blurbs are the episodes with speech bubbles added. A few blurb episodes retroactively added Truffles in the background. There was a short about Lumpy knitting antler socks called Asbestos I Can Do. There wasn't any violence. and I don't think anything to do with asbestos. I don't understand. There were a few other shorts, like an old-timey training video on skiing with an actual narrator, a Fall Out Boy music video, which I already mentioned. There was a miniature crossover with Dick figures. It was an April Fool's joke teasing a new season in stick figure style. You can tell how dated this is because look at how this ends. Troll face. Boy oh boy, that was definitely 2012. There's lots of games. Most of them are Flash games, but there are also quite a few on mobile. Really just your typical stuff with Happy Tree Friends slapped on it. Dead-Eye Derby is a more prominent one. Xbox 360 and PC also had False Alarm, which I've already mentioned. There was a DLC just 2 years ago for a game called The Crack Pet Show, which also got its own short to advertise. The most recent Happy Tree Friends media is the crossover with Dumb Ways to Die, the hit internet song from like forever ago that apparently still has an active franchise. They don't really do that much. I was a little let down. I was hoping they'd kill each other, but As it turns out, a while before this crossover, they redid the Dumb Ways to Die song with Happy Tree Friends characters. And finally, the comics. It's basically nothing. They're a page long. There's a couple of them. It's just like nothing. I should also mention there's a human skeleton underwater holding a treasure chest in one of the episodes. There doesn't seem to be any humans in their world. I don't know how that makes sense. Maybe it's Leather Balkan, and the chest holds his payment for introing that extra. Just thought that was worth noting. So, if the resurrection isn't Sniffles' time travel, or Splendid's reversing time, and it's probably not a dream with Sniffles' dream machine, are they just constantly reborn like Kenny from South Park? Are they cursed? Is it all the idol? Do they remember their past lives?
I have no idea.
You know, I think they're just in hell.
I don't think they remember their past lives.
The monkey looks coincidentally really similar to a Happy Tree Friend. I'm looking really forward to narrating more videos. I want to thank Original Mom for allowing me to do this. And I'm really glad I made it out unharmed.
You're gonna blow up. How you get impaled by the top? Alright, yeah, okay. Well, yep, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Let me know your thoughts on what's your true thoughts on the reason why everything happens the way it is, why they just keep resurrecting things like that. I'm actually curious, but yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and catch you on the next one. Peace.